I don't know about you, but something about being in a dystopian future where a big brother watches you at all time in Britain sounds pretty fitting. Welcome to Watch Dogs, British edition, where Londons have been taken over by corporations and it's up to DedSec to free London one hack at a time. However, DedSec has been breached and been either killed, captured, or deactivated. So now it's up to you to build it back up by recruiting some people to help you take back London. And that's the kicker. All the citizens, policemen, private military officers, and gang members can be recruited and playable to you. And with 9 million people to go through, each with a unique skill set, it's always fun to be trying out new people and their stuff. Now, with this knowledge in mind, it may look like it has no story, but it surprisingly does. But we'll get to that later. Oh boy, we'll get to that later. But for right now, why don't we chop bread about its gameplay? Watch Dogs is a third-person open-world game that is mostly comprised of you hacking, recruiting members, and infiltrating bases. The hacking has a couple things taken out, like you can't blow the manholes and change the streetlights anymore. The manhole makes sense, but it was really fun to do, you know? Like, it was pretty... It was pretty fun to blow up somebody's PT Cruiser just because they were looking at you funny. There's more they changed, but the biggest change would be that instead of the hacker vision, it's now one pulse radar that lets you see what you can hack and hijack cameras through walls. I've always liked the hacking mechanics because they were always simple to use and could really help if you're in a bind, like jamming people's weapons instantly or disrupting somebody's comms. It's pretty cool to have. My main thing though is their tagline, play as anybody, and it's pretty true. You're able to play as anyone from a lawyer, a private military officer, a gang member, a game developer, an old lady, a porn star. And if you can see them, you can fucking play them. And with that, everybody also has different weapons and abilities to bring into DedSec, so no two people are the exact same. For example, you can recruit a private military officer and just walk into their base casually and nobody would bother you. Or you could play as a protester and rally people to fight for you. There's a lot of different types of people that change how you play the game. There are also perks that you get just for recruiting them. Like if my operative was critically injured because I was being a little stupid, I would have to wait one real-time hour in order to play him again. However, since I had a doctor in my team, I was able to get him back in about 5-ish minutes. Same goes for being arrested. The system is actually pretty cool and I do like it conceptually. One thing I have to mention about it is that there are a whole lot of weapons, perks, and abilities that everyone can have. Each person can have so much of the three, so if you want to explore the abilities and perks, you're going to have to do a lot of character hopping and recruiting, which may not be long to recruit, but it becomes a chore after doing it for the 50th fucking time. The third one I mentioned would be infiltrating restricted areas. I worded it that way because Legion doesn't have a definitive way to go into bases and do what you needed to do. You could just sneak in, take down a few foes, do your shit, then leave, but some of these abilities seems to be handling it differently.
Bugger off, little ones!
And it's not like stealth gameplay is hard, in fact it's the easiest one of the three watchdogs. Mostly because it takes a bit for them to notice you, and when you do, you have a whole lot of time to react before they even do something to you. I would know, I had a hell of a time getting used to the controls. When you make right trigger sprint and the B button cover and the A button vault and go around the corner and cover, it takes a little bit more to get used to. And true Watchdog 1 has those controls, but it's been a long ass time since I played it. That's been like 8 years ago. I had to get used to all that shit. To me, the stealth feels so doable and easy to the point where it'd be stupid not to go in quiet. True, there's much faster and maybe funner ways to do it, but I guess I just like the whole hacker hitman type thing. Overall, I don't think Legion really improved anything noteworthy. In fact, just because of the character system, I think it took a lot of steps back. It just feels limiting with playing Legion because you come from being able to carry 3 weapons, 4 gadgets, and 2 drones, all the way to 2 weapons and maybe 2 gadgets. Look, I know I'm not fucking anonymous with a gun cabinet in my school shooter coat, but come on, man. Don't just leave me with these fucking Nerf guns. I don't understand why DedSec could nick a server from a modernized MI6 that could rebuild past events using surveillance tools, but I can't get real guns. My bad. I almost started spoiling the story. No, fuck that. Let's do it now. Watchdog Legion kicks off the story where a spy named Dalton Wolf was infiltrating the Parliament building to investigate a threat. He's affiliated with DedSec, a somewhat organized group of hackers meant to fight against the corporation trying to take control of everything you do. Like being able to know what you watch, what you think, what you're about to do, and what you're capable of doing. Now, DedSec seems to be an around-the-world group, and apparently they have more than one branch because Marcus's group in Watch Dogs 2 is DedSec as well, but they're not affiliated or even talking with each other. During Dalton's mission, he found a bunch of explosives in the Parliament building with a lot of tech that has DedSec's name on it. They tried to disarm that bomb, but all it did was reveal other bombs in London and reveal DedSec's location, killing all of DedSec's members in London except 2, with Sabine the teenage bitch somehow still alive and Mail Cortana having his memory wiped. With all of DedSec dead, they had to rebuild the group from the ground up, hence the Recruit Anyone tagline. You recruit one person who isn't dead or arrested who is somewhat loyal to the cause, and thus begins your adventure to rebuild DedSec and find out who is behind those bombings. Now, with your hunt for the people behind the bombings, there's 4 other main story branches about the other villains of London. You have the human trafficking kingpin Mary Kelly, Richard Malik the spy, Nigel Cass the head of the privatized military, and then my personal favorite, Sky Larson, the CEO of Brokatech working on Project Daybreak. You see, all these are good to me, and I like them all because they were all linked to Zero Day, the people behind the bombings, and they all have good reasons to take them down. If anything, I felt that some of them had the potential to be the main antagonists and fill up a story just by themselves. It just felt weird how they were these really powerful guys who should have been a massive problem to deal with. Especially since Malik docks DedSec and Nigel has a fucking massive military. You know, with ranks and tiers, like an actual military. And let's not forget, Nigel Cass had a project going as well called Project Themis, a system of drones that would have had the capabilities to assess any criminals and deal with the threat before they even commit the crime. I don't know about you, but anybody that can make drones that can detect black people and dispatch them before committing the crime does not deserve to be called a side villain. I'm not complaining too much because there wasn't that many ways for them to add to the villains without it feeling like filler. Like I mentioned earlier, my favorite one was definitely Sky Larson and Project Daybreak. Sky Larson was the creator at least, or played a good part in making Bagley and Optics, the cattle tags that let you do everything you could with a phone, but implanted in your mind. Weirdly enough, what you hold in your hand isn't even a phone. It's a small remote that you keep in your pocket. Here, take a look, listen to this audio from the game.
Hello and welcome to today's episode of The Upload. We're talking about the Optic and how it's changed our lives. Now, as you remember, Bloom announced a new version of the Optic at the recent Tone conference, but we haven't heard too much about that since due to the dramatic events there. Let's cast our minds back and consider the technology. I mean, the Optic changed everything. It lets you see things in AR. You no longer need a smartphone. You just have the small implant that sends signals to your optic nerve and lets you see your emails, take calls, and browse the internet directly as if the screen was in front of your eyes. Instead of having to carry around a phone, you've just got the small handheld unit. So much lighter and so much more convenient. It's great.
Vicky, you sound like you absolutely love the Optic. Do you actually think that it's made our lives any better?
I mean, sure, it's definitely made things a lot easier. It's so simple to call someone now. All you have to do is choose who you want to chat to and they're there, ready to talk. And browsing the web is so much easier. I remember when you used to have to sit down at a computer with an actual keyboard and mouse and type everything out. And my favourite feature is public transport. With the Optic, you can just walk straight onto the tube. It even acts as a passport. No longer do I have to dig around and try and find my old paper passport just to travel somewhere. Also, I thought that Optic's marketing strategy, making it free for people, was a stroke of genius.
Genius. Bloom was really calculated when it was doing that. It was pushing this draconian device on us at all. Sure, everybody flocked to it. There was free Wi-Fi and phone plans. That definitely helped, but it wasn't a case of this is a product that you need in your life.
Why do you hate it so much?
It's just the worst because you had to give up your privacy expectations and accept surveillance. It was almost like the government and Bloom didn't even need to make the Optic mandatory. Making it mandatory was only to get the last holdouts across the line. If free data didn't convince you, fines and arrests from the state for not having the Optic would pretty much be enough.
I mean, what do you mean by privacy problems? No one really talks about that anymore.
They don't talk about it because we don't have any choice when it comes to the Optic. Yes, it's convenient and mandatory, but everybody's forgotten what it really means. Here, you've got a whole company owning basically all the data about your life. Bloom can see everything that you can see. Nothing is private anymore. There are so many times when I don't want anyone to have a clue about where I am, who I'm chatting with, what I'm doing. It's not even dodgy stuff, but I just don't want anybody to blackmail me with this in the future by hacking it. And because of Bloom's contracts with the government, it isn't just Bloom that can see everything I do, it's the government. The UK as a state has become a complete surveillance paradise.
I think you're painting a bit of a bleak picture. It's not all that bad.
No, you're completely wrong on this. I don't want everybody tracking me wherever I'm going around London.
Well, in that case, you might be interested in some rumours I heard. Did you hear that some DedSec hackers have found a way to bypass the Optic's connection with Bloom?
Are they actually making it better or usable or actually friendly for anybody?
Well, word on the street is that they've been able to create an encrypted signal, which means that your world might have a chance of becoming a bit more private again, so you could go back and enjoy all the great things about Optic without that fear of surveillance.
With the Optic, privacy's dead.
Other than the fact that you're basically hacking with your mind like a tech-savvy Professor X, I wanted you to listen to this clip because I wanted you to know what type of person you're going up against. A digitally centric dictator that gets to have information about everything about its users. Especially when you think about the other corporations that could benefit from that and have more nefarious intentions. Other than ad targeting. Jesus Christ! Quit it, Zuckerberg! Anyway, we came across her because of one of the side characters now put a bounty on her and her Project Daybreak. And let me say, if any of you chuckle fucks look like Nout, send me a tweet on my soch. My bad. Project Daybreak was about Sky Larson defeating immortality by scanning your brain and then uploading it to the cloud, somehow bringing your consciousness into the digital world. Now, we all know that this idea has been done before, and probably better too, but I was really curious with how they did with this idea, and it was interesting but very short. Like, you had to go in Sky's house in order to find where she is because she went off the grid for 2 years. You go into her house attempting to find clues, but instead you find out the reason why the project even came to be. Sky's mother apparently scrolled through Facebook too much and got cancer from it, and being the brilliant scientist that she is, tried to take matters into her own hands and keep her alive through the digital world. Surprisingly, it was a success. However, her intentions with her mother were far more sinister.
Now. Sky, where am I? I can't see. Subject's lucidity confirms what I can see on the code. The neural map is intact and fully functioning. We'll begin deleting lines of code now. What? How? Oh my god. You disobeyed me.
That's enough, Mother.
Sweetheart, please don't do this to your own mom. Let me die in peace.
You never believed in me, Mother. But you'll believe now. Day 2. Motor strip is completely unnecessary. Control A, delete.
I feel ill.
Day 12.
the limit code for now. Emotional response is fascinating. Day 20. Moving on to the frontal lobe. My new security system won't have any need to think for itself.
Sky, please. If you only knew the pain.
Temporal code. Diminish language function. Day 29. Finally, it will delete the limbic code.
How can I be of service, Sky?
Turn the light on and off. Very good. Play some music. You know what I like. Lovely. I think this new arrangement will work quite nicely. What do you think?
Over the course of the next 30 days, she began to delete parts of her mom's brain in order to gain control of her. Once she gained control, she used her as a smart AI service for her house. Man, imagine if Siri got that way or some shit like that. Hearing the origins of this project really just highlights her narcissistic personality and gives plenty of reason as to why you would hate her and go right after her. Throw on top of the fact that she did this to her dog and put it in the spider bot, and she did this into her brother and made Bagley from that, it's just enough for her to be a main villain. But nah, son, because right after you leave with her house with the coordinates to her hand, you can make a beeline to her lab while she's uploading herself and quite literally rock her shit within the hour. True, you get a choice to kill her or spare her, but it literally does not matter. No matter which choice you make, they shut down her project, killing her either way.
Nothing left to do now but take a few selfies with the corpse. Quickly though, security's on the way.
Ha, that's going on my wall. I call this my favorite villain because even though she had the shortest timeline, she was the most noteworthy. Even though she only had 3 or 4 missions about her, that house mission really stuck with me, mostly because of the show not tell and my emotional change. From feeling sympathetic for wanting to keep her mom alive to complete apathy and just racking my shells. The only other villain that came even close to that would be Zero Day. Now, Zero Day is the main antagonist of the story. They managed to be the ones behind the bombings and almost completely take out DedSec. Sure, they collaborated with the other villains, but it was mostly about the bombings. It honestly feels more like trying to catch a ghost because they really don't do anything else. In fact, you don't even meet them again until the very end. And before I talk about the ending, do you mind if I talk about the DedSec survivors? My bad, I got so caught up in our antagonists that I didn't think about our main characters. Bagley is easily my favorite character in this game. He's the Siri of Bloom, helping people out with anything they need. DedSec has hacked him a bit ago, and apparently they programmed him well, because he's the only character with wit, charm, and some actual personality.
We got crypto. Oh, I like that number.
I'd say it's a thankless job, but someone just sent us a video link named thankyou.mp4, so at least it's a one-thank job. Well, the mission we retroactively named Operation Let's All Traumatize Ourselves in Sky Larson's Fun Dungeon was a complete success, and I've just decoded her secret hiding place.
We'll have to sort this one on our own.
Carefully, Dalton.
Bagley, are you detecting a little worry in Sabine's voice?
Brilliant. Asking the computer about feelings. This explains so much.
No DedSec registration detected. Identify yourself, or I'll seal the exits, hack your optic, and read you every drunken email you ever wrote until you starve.
Scary thing is, as time goes on, I keep finding games that have AI that are more like than the other characters. The other one is small titty goth bitch Sabine. I forgot I wrote that. The other one is small titty goth bitch Sabine. I don't know about you, but I never warmed up to her. I would have thought that she was going to be the straight man, and that kind of points us all in the right direction, like here and there, and it was fine. But I felt that she was distant and didn't care much about what we did, mostly from her monotone voice and the fact that we never see her in person.
Doubtful. They would have attempted contact by now. This is someone else. Of interest to Albion, apparently. You better search the place.
You bet your ass.
Needs one more push, and this may be it. Someone's made contact. Probably inspired by what we've done. Says he has information we'll be interested in. You should meet up.
I'm on the move.
Brilliantly done. Westminster will surely rise up against Albion after this.
Thanks.
My feelings about her went even more sour when I left Sky's house and listened to this.
How does she know we were in her house?
Sky Larson built an iceberg smart mansion run by her digitally lobotomized mother, but this is the part you can't believe.
Maybe her mother deserved it. I know mine does.
She's scared. There's no other reason for her to threaten us.
Stay scared, Larson. We're coming for you.
Look, I understand that not everybody's mom is the best person. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if I found logs of Sabine's past and her parents were the reason why she became gothic. But come on, man. There's very few things in life that your mom could do to you to deserve getting an incurable disease, get shafted into Windows XP by her daughter, and then get your brain cut off until you're the AI from the Disney movie Smart House. That line itself pissed me off to no end, and I hated her character from that point on. And rightly so, because she didn't do shit in our missions, and she betrayed us. Yes, that's the godly twist this game oh so needed. I won't say that I was surprised by it. I mean, how could I? They literally spoiled it by making me talk to Malik.
Oi, Malik! What's funny? If you got something to say, fucking say it.
And spoil my one source of entertainment? I'll give you a hint. Spooky voice, catchy name, bit of a drama queen. Or did you just forget that you haven't actually found Zero Day? You looked at Albion, Sirs, the Kellys, even Sky Bloody Larson. Have you ever considered that instead of looking outside, you should be looking in?
Sabine was planning on doing a big wipe on London to start it all over, as she puts it. And she was going to use the Bagleys all around London to cause chaos and break everything. Why? Well, let me play the cutscene for you.
Shit!
You just can't get enough of me, can you? Or are you just incredibly stupid?
Do you want me to access the transmitter while you socialize?
Yes!
Yes! You're incredibly stupid! Wonderful! I see DedSec hasn't changed its brand.
You'll need to stall for time and remain near the transmitter unit.
The bag's update is well impressive. Wreaking chaos on that. But how's that fix a fucking thing?
Fix? Well, you think we can fix this? What with crypto-anarchism, protesting, doxing? Optics are glorified cattle tags. Albion shoots civilians in broad daylight. Snitching is now a means of survival. No, you skids can't fix anything.
We ain't fucking skids. We're DedSec, man. We're watchdogs. We fight back against power-hungry fucks like you. Good against evil.
And you're the arbiter of goodness. Let me ask, how many have you killed since DedSec restarted? See? A tiny tweak in your philosophy and we're on the same page.
The tower's fins must be collapsed to complete the trace. I cannot initiate this hack, but you can.
You saying what I think you're saying?
That we should get the band back together again. Oh, sweet, but no. I'm saying I was in denial too. Shackled by their technology, their morality. But my hard reset wipes the slate clean. So we can all start again. I'm sad you won't be around to see it.
glad you won't be around to see it.
That's pretty much her reasoning behind it all. She thought that London was so fucked up that it deserves to be rid of everything and start over with a clean slate. And you know what? I can understand it to an extent. It's true, you get to see Albion become the new enforcement and arrest whoever they want and shoot people down. And the optics track everything you do. So it makes sense that someone so skewed in the head would be like, alright, it's rewind time. I don't know. The ending just felt rushed, but very climactic because you had to shut down Bagley in order to stop it, killing him. Oh no, but he can just put a copy of himself into like a small USB or something. Oh, fuck off! I quite literally thought that when the Bagley patch was mentioned in the endgame meeting. I don't know, maybe the story did need a little bit of change to it because I definitely didn't think that Sabine being the endgame boss or like the actual antagonist was a good idea. Maybe they should have changed it a little bit better. Or if you were going to give that to her, give it like a better reason to that. I felt like maybe, or at least show me how she even got to that way instead of just getting it that way and just betraying her DedSec members. But that's probably just me. I don't know. Hey, what's going on, y'all? I just wanted to say, if you made it this far, man, I really appreciate you guys for sticking around and watching. I've been having this video in the works ever since Watch Dogs Legion came out, almost like a little bit after I had Killing Floor going, and I'll be honest, I kind of got lazy on this one. I really fucked up a bit, but a part of me kind of also was struggling with my old computer, and that's why I kind of put a little bit more of overtime this Christmas, just so I can upgrade my stuff. And let me tell you, it is such a blessing. Holy shit, dude. Like, I was struggling to even use a Premiere Pro 2019, but now I was able to get a new computer with a better graphics card. I'm not giving you the specs, fuck off. And I'm also... I have more videos in the works, especially since me and my homies have still been playing games since I last uploaded. I just gotta figure out how to do a better thumbnail or some shit like that. Other than that, I really don't have anything else in mind. I didn't have a good outro in this whole video anyway. In fact, I was kind of just like thrown off for Watch Dogs since it was a good game. I kind of liked it, but it was only because of like what the last two did. It didn't do anything else substantial like the other two Watch Dogs have done. Like, you know, how it's open world for Watch Dogs 2 or the grittiness in Watch Dogs 1 that I really liked. This one just kind of had somewhat of the both, but they never really like excelled or did better than the other two at anything of it. So I'm not tripping. I may try out their DLCs because they talked about one where it's about Aiden Pierce and Wrench, and I think they're also talking about one with the Assassin's Creed chick. Kind of interesting, but I don't see how that's going to work because that's going to be like a nerfed version of Aiden Pierce because you only still get like 2 weapons, 2 abilities, and 3 abilities and 2 abilities, I think. What the gadgets? There you go. I know, I'm doing this shit kind of like off the rip. I don't have like a script or anything ready because honestly, I kind of just tossed that one away. It's not really necessary. Again, I really appreciate it, you guys. There's more coming in the works, and it should be coming a lot faster now since my schedule is kind of freed up since then. But, you know, YouTubers never follow that promise. Alright, bounce it out. Be safe, y'all.